Good afternoon, everybody. Wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for coming out to our Social Security Update Information Conference. A few admin notes. Doors to the left and to the right are where the latrines or the bathrooms are located. Also, we're going to have snacks provided down in our fellowship hall. So if you go right out through the right, through this door right here, that's where our fellowship hall is located. And our instructor or presenter today, or presenters, will let you know what time we're going to take breaks and things of that nature. I'm going to now turn it over to our pastor for his opening comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Lowe, Brother Gibbs, and to the rest of the men's ministry, their leadership, and the rest of the cohort that they, got to get us lined back up in the middle, and the rest that they, I feel like that's middle. It just feels a little off when it's not in the middle. Y'all excuse me for a moment. Lewis Chapel, y'all already know me. But listen, we welcome all of you. We welcome all of you, Lewis Chapel, and especially those of you who are our guests this morning. This is a wonderful conversation. I truly appreciate the individuals that are going to lead this. As you know, benefits and things of that nature are in constant flux, whether it is this administration that we're currently dealing with or other ancillary factors. Being aware and knowing these things is very valuable, because not only do you get this information, but we ask that you share this information with those that you love and that it will affect also. So thank you for coming. Thank you to the men's ministry for continuing to do ministry outside of Sunday morning, outside of worship, and finding valuable ways that we can help our congregation and our community. So without further ado, I will turn it into the hands of Brother Gibbs.
Hey, good morning, all. We have been working on this for a while. We are excited to bring to you folks who are knowledgeable, who actually work doing the various things that we're going to go over today. We're excited to have them. You've been watching the news. You know what's going on. Folks are showing up at these buildings saying, hey, I need some help with this, that, and the third. Nobody's there. Go to the website, flooded. You call your local representative, they don't have time. So it's been on our heart to get folks in to help answer your questions. Right? We have Mr. Joshua Clark. We have Ms. Tamu Brown. Tamu is a member of our church. Joshua, he's been in the business since 2018. He's retired military. After serving, he went to the SSB. He's been doing the very thing with claims, helping folks to understand how the system works, what to file, when to file. We were in the back there just a moment ago, and Lo and I were seated at the table, and we just started asking random questions. The questions that folks ask in the cubicles at work, the questions that they ask when your mom asks you something about Social Security, and they were blowing our minds. So we didn't know that. We didn't know that at all. Should I claim at 62? Should I wait for 67 and a half? What happens if I got a spouse? What happens if I have a child with a disability? All of these things we were just asking them, and they put down so much information. We said, hey, wait a minute. We may have to come back and do another session just for folks like myself who are retired military, got a disability check coming in. We're a little different. These are the professionals. So this is an informal setting. We're going to bring some slides up. We're going to talk through some things, ask your questions. This is our opportunity. We as a people fail because we don't want anybody in our business sometimes. We don't want to ask those questions because, well, I don't want you to know that. But if you got somebody who knows what they know, and they're willing to help you, raise your hand, ask the questions, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to bring Mr. Joshua Clark up, and he's going to take it from here. Mr. Clark.
Good afternoon. How y'all doing? I feel like I'm about to give a sermon up here. This what it feel like, Pastor? This what it feel like up here? Brother Lowe told me I was going to be on video or something. They said it adds 5 pounds. You know, I've been working out a little bit. So, I'm a little comedian. I like to tell little jokes here and there. But I can also be serious when we talk about people's retirement, okay? First of all, if you're a Cowboys fan, please meet us in the parking lot. We'll talk to you after the show, all right? You know, we'll talk to you after the show. All right. So let's talk about Social Security. All right. Like I said, my name's Joshua Clark. I currently work for the Social Security Administration downtown Fayetteville. All right. I do retirement claims, disability claims. I can get you a Social Security card. I can file for any kind of benefits you want. All right. But that don't mean all 40 or 50 of y'all show up at my office Monday morning talking about, hey, let's talk about Social Security. No, let's talk about it today. All right. So whatever questions you have today, let's talk about it today. So I don't have 50 people at my office on Monday, okay? All right, so what is Social Security? Anybody can tell me what Social Security is? All right. Social Security is a federal organization that you pay money into with your hard-earned taxes, all right? How do we file for Social Security? How do we generate that Social Security? We take your gross 35 years, and that's how we come up with how much you get each month, all right? Check, check. Okay. All right, so we take your gross 35 years, and that's how we come up with how much you're going to get for Social Security. So you'll have people come up to my office and say, man, I've been working my whole life. I've been working since I was 18. Yeah, but you was only making $15,000 a year. All right, so you wasn't really making that much money in the 70s, 80s, 90s, all right? But you got these people like doctors that come in here. They're making $100,000 a year. The highest PIA, which is how much you get each month, is $5,300. That's the highest one I've ever seen. And he was a doctor, a surgeon. And he was making about $200,000 a year. You that working right now making about $40,000 to $50,000, your Social Security is going to be roughly around $1,500 a month. Our average is somewhere between $900 and $1,500 a month for the average citizen, okay? Now, you have 3 different types of Social Security. You have Social Security retirement, you have disability, and you have SSI, okay? Social Security retirement, you work and paid into Social Security. You have 40 QCs, okay? You have to have 40 QCs to get retirement. You get 4 QCs a year. You have to work and earn $1,600 a year to get 1 QC. You can only get 4 a year. You have to have 40 to file for retirement. So if you do the math, you had been working, making $1,600 for at least 10 years to have that 40 QCs. Okay? Quarter of coverage. That's right. Quarter of coverage. Quarter of coverage. All right? Got to have 40 of those. All right? If you don't, you're either going to have to work, get that 40, or if you have a spouse, you can get it off your spouse. All right? All right. Then we have disability. Disability. In order for you to be qualified for disability, you've had to work within the past 10 years. And 5 of those years have to be consecutive. Any questions about that? 10 years from 2026 back to 2016, you've had to been working, and it had to been at least 5 years consecutive for you to file for disability. So if you haven't worked since 2015, you're not eligible. If you've hit your full retirement age, if you're here and you're over 60, who's born in 54 or higher or lower? All right, so if you were born in 54 or lower, you've already at your full retirement age. You had to become disabled prior to your full retirement age for you to file for disability. So if you were born in 54, your full retirement age is 66, you had to be disabled before you turned 66. If you're 67, 68, 70, there's no disability for you. Okay? Then we have SSI. SSI is a government needs-based program. It's like welfare. It's for people who can't work and get to that 40 QCs. All right? So they come from different pots. All right? They all don't come from the same pot. SSI has its own pot, retirement has theirs, and disability has their own pot. All right? Anybody can file for disability. Anybody can file for SSI.
And to include children. Children can apply for SSI also.
Anybody. All right? Majority of our claims are with kids who have autism, disabilities, premature births, all those qualify, or I ain't gonna say qualify, all of them file for SSI. All right? Right now, SSI is $994 a month. You can receive SSI and you can still work. Okay? What we do, we exclude the first $80, and then every dollar you make after that, we subtract from your SSI. Okay? Yes, sir. There's not really a, how can I say it, condition that qualifies you or disqualifies you.
There are a few exceptions, actually. There are some that automatically
I'm saying,
entitle you
yeah,
to SSI.
I was going to get that. Like we have what we call Terry cases, which means dire need, like cancer, stage 4 cancer, ALS, stuff that's severe. That's what we call Terry cases. That gets you moved to the front of the line, and that gets you approved. Okay, so your severe cases that will get you what we call Terry cases. I mean, hey, move this one up front, something might happen. Because I had one probably 2 months ago. She called me and she's like, hey, I want to file for retirement. I got cancer. She filed for retirement. 2 weeks later, she died. You know, yes, ma'am. It all depends. What age? Are they already receiving benefits? Because if they're receiving benefits, you got age 65, we got SSI aged. So if your retirement's less than $994, you can file for SSI age at age 65. And that would give you that boost you need to get up to that $994. Okay? So you have to be younger than your full retirement age. Okay? You understand? So if you're 70, you're either already getting your Social Security retirement or you're already getting the SSI. All right. But not in every case. I had a guy come file for me. He's like, hey, I need to file for my retirement. He's 75 years old. At 70 is your cutoff. You have to file. So he lost 5 years of income. It came up to about $100,000 he lost. Now, it's probably more than that because his PIA was $3,800. And he should have been getting that 5 years ago. So you do that times 12 times 5. That's a lot of money he's lost. And he just didn't know. He just didn't know. He was just working and working. And then he's like, hey, I'm retired. He was 65, and he lost all that money. So if you sitting here wondering, hey, should I take it at 62 or 65? Well, if you don't make it at 65, guess where your money goes? Back to Uncle Sam, to the government. It don't go to your kids. It don't go to your spouse. It goes right back into the system. All right. Next slide. I've been jumping all over the place, ain't I?
One thing that
Yes, sir.
One thing as far as clarification, some people, when they're working past their full retirement age, they think they can't get their Social Security. So you might want to clarify the difference as far as W-2 wages, pensions, and when you can actually start taking Social Security, regardless of what age you are, and still get your benefits.
I got you. I was supposed to be following the slideshow. You're supposed to be up here helping coordinate this. You just let me ramble on, huh? All right, so what he's talking about, at age 62, if you say, hey, I'm not going to wait, I'm going to take you to age 62, you can. You can, and you can still work. You're going to be held to a wage restriction, all right? That wage restriction right now of 2026 is $24,480. That's the most you can make before taxes. So if you make over that, we're going to cut your check off.
And I want to clarify, what's your question, man?
$24,480 a year, or $2,040 a month before taxes.
And I want to clarify it the way, let's look at it in layman's term. In other words, okay, I'm 62. I want to stop working. I just want to stop working. I want to go ahead and draw my Social Security. We're saying you can. You absolutely can. But what you're missing is that you'll draw that benefit from Social Security, but we limit how much you can go out and earn. So if you wanted to get a part-time job, you say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get my Social Security benefit. Fine, we'll pay it to you. But what we're going to do, we're going to tell you there's a work restriction. You can't earn over $24.56. If you do, they'll begin to hold back a check from you each month to cover the difference, the overage. So we're not saying that you can't. By all means, you can. But what we're saying, make an informed decision. That is what you should be doing, make an informed decision about your life. And it's not just a one-day decision. You sit down and you look at the numbers and then decide where you want to go with it from there. Just a little background for me. I worked at Social Security. I was 27 years at Social Security. I was his supervisor, great employee. Anyway, but he is. I love him dearly. But just, we want you to be informed. So each situation is different. But it's not that you can't do it. It's just taught us to let us show you how to do it and how to do it smartly. Because the information is here, but the problem is they don't give it to us. They want us to ensure that we keep working and paying into that system. We're not going to do that anymore. We're here to help you with that information. So you can, but just want you to know that, okay?
Another thing, how she was talking about we hold a check. So there is a calculation we do. Say you want to file for your Social Security, you're making $50,000 a year, which is double what we are allowed to make. We do a calculation. We take how much you're earning, we subtract $24,480 from it, then we divide it by 2, and then we divide it by how much you're getting. All right, so if you're getting $1,500 a month, we're going to divide whatever's remaining by 2, and that tells us how many checks to withhold from you, so you're not overpaid. So if it tells us, hey, we need to withhold 6 checks, we're going to withhold your January, February, March, April, May, June, and you'll get July, August, September, October, November, December, and they'll stay in that cycle until you report your earnings are different, or you turn your full retirement age. And by when you hit your full retirement age, you can make as much money as you want. You can hit the lottery and we'll still pay you. Okay? Yes, ma'am. It goes off your age. All right? Full retirement age starting at 54. Starting at 54 is age 66. If you were born at 54 or younger, age 66. Then every year after is 2 months. So if you were born in 55, it's 66 in 2 months. If you're born in 66, 66 in 4 months. 56, yeah, 56, and it goes up. So if you were born in 59, your full retirement age is 66, 10 months. And anything above that, age 67.
Yes, sir. Drop it back some. 50 and up.
50, you're already at your full retirement age, you're at 50. 66. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so back to this, they hold a check. So say, for example, I'll use myself, I'm retired, got a part-time job. So if I make over, what a month, 21?
$24,480 a year.
A month, what was it a month?
$2,040.
$2,040. So if I make $2,050 in that month, they're going to keep a whole check?
No, you're going to get a letter from us, all right, and it's going to say, hey, you've been overpaid. And we charge you $2 for every dollar you go over.
Okay, thank you.
$2 for every dollar you go over.
Unless it's your full retirement year. That is a different calculation.
Like I
Right,
said, we
it's a
don't
different
care.
calculation. The year you turn full retirement age, we do not charge you that same amount. We give you $1 for every $3.
And one thing that, as far as what Brother Davis was alluding to, that $24,000 cap you were saying, as far as making sure that you know the differentiation between W-2 wage and pension. If you're getting a pension, it's just a pension dollars. We need to clarify if that 24,000, whatever.
We don't care about your pension.
Right, that's what I want to make sure
We
you
care about
understand.
your worked and earned income.
W-2 wages.
That's all we care about. We don't care about your pension. We don't care about your 401k. Only time that comes into play if we're talking about Medicare.
Well, there is an exception for certain pensions. I'm not sure if everyone here, if you're from New York, there are some pensions in New York and some other states, they don't pay into Social Security. You know, we have some of those private pensions. Yeah. They do not pay into Social Security. We offset. That is a different calculation. So I do need to clarify that. If you have a pension from that was not paid, did not pay into Social Security, that is a different calculation. We look at it. We do count those wages.
So let's say you reach your full retirement age and you're continuing to work. At your new job, will it take Social Security deductions out of your paycheck?
Yes. Okay, so it's on one of these slides here. Let me address that question. Your Social Security is paid because of your FICA. Can you go 3 slides forward for me if possible? How your Social Security calculated, how we take money out to pay Social Security, it's your FICA taxes. And everyone has to pay FICA taxes. The people who don't pay it are usually self-employed. Ministers have exceptions also. It depends on how it's set up. But your FICA taxes will continue to be taken out of your check. Yes. Okay, how your benefit adds increases. Remember in the beginning he spoke of 35 years. We take the highest, your entire work history. You take those 35 years, we index them up to today's value in money. So whatever you earned back in 1970, we would index it up to what it's worth in today's time. So what happens when they do that, you have those 35 years we look at, and those high years, we have the high years and we look at 2 of your lowest. If you earn, suppose you earned $40,000 was one of your lower years. If you earn $42,000, yes, we'll take that and plug it back into your benefit amount to recalculate. It's what we call an ARF, an annual. We go in and recalculate that benefit. It will not make a $200 difference, I tell you. For that to affect it in that way, you would have to earn a significant amount every year. We've seen it happen, but it's rare. But yes, it can possibly increase it. Yes.
It'll be like $7. You wouldn't even know it.
Well, first a comment. I just got caught in that quandrum where you earn a little bit more and you have to pay FICA and Medicare. That's what I was called from the Board of Election.
Did you get hit with Irma?
Huh?
Did you get hit with Irma? Or you're saying, what do you explain?
They called me and told me that I had hit a level from working early election that I now had to pay Medicare and FICA. And because when I worked the general election, it was not quite enough to cover the amount that they had to pay in.
Okay.
I still owe a balance that I now have to pay.
What happened is the Board of Elections did not take out enough.
Right.
That was something they did. Their calculation, it happens with employers. Sometimes we get a drop when employers don't take enough. There's this huge drop that comes in from IRS. The employer did not take out enough to cover the amount they're supposed to take from Medicare. There's a set amount you take from Medicare out of someone's check, FICA, a percentage. They didn't do enough of that. That's something with the Board of Election. Unfortunately, that's not Social Security. Your employer made that mistake.
Well, why is it that we have to pay for Medicare to a company that does not give us Medicare?
It's a federally funded program. It's set up by Johnson back in the day. That's a congressional question, actually. Everyone's entitled to Medicare if you paid in. It's a social program to ensure we have health coverage. You can elect not to take Medicare, but you're going to pay into it. If you're going to pay into it, why not take a benefit that you've paid into over the years?
But I get Medicare from the state.
You get.
I'm retired.
Your state retired. So you're saying, why do you have to take the Medicare?
Right.
Is that what because you're
the county.
Yeah, your county requires it. You mean, why are we taking it out? There's a difference.
Yeah.
I think I'm missing what you're asking.
They took out Medicare from me.
Yes, ma'am.
Is what they're saying.
Yes.
But I get Medicare from the state. I am retired state employee.
Okay, Medicare is no, you don't get Medicare
And
from
I'm
the state.
75.
Yeah, no, Medicare is a funded program, federally funded. Medicare is run by the federally funded. It's not through the state. You just happen to get it because you're age 65 or either disabled. It's not a state-run benefit, ma'am. It's nationally. So you do have to pay it, because think of it like this. The money you're drawing from Social Security right now was paid in 50, 60 years ago. So the program builds on itself to pay those that's coming. People from behind are paying for the ones that are coming forward. So it's just the way that the system's set up.
We're going to get to a question period. There's a presentation that has been made. Some of the questions you have may be covered in the presentation. The reason you're going to be jumping all around your presentation is because they're asking questions before you get a chance to get to it in your presentation. So if you could be patient enough to let him get through the presentation, he may cover your question in his presentation. And if he doesn't, then I'm sure there will be a period where the questions and concerns that you have, you get opportunity to ask those things. But please, he hasn't got through slide 3.
For the knowledge.
Let him get through his presentation, please. And if those things that you need to get addressed have not been addressed, then please ask your questions at that time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor.
If you think you're going to forget it, write it down.
Next slide, because we already covered full retirement age. You want to hit disability? You want to hit disability?
Okay, we spoke a little. Josh covered earlier a little bit about the disability benefit. I think what gets missed a lot of times is information is not shared. Disability benefits, like he spoke of, it could be what we call SSDI or SSI. We spoke of those disability benefits, but there's also disabled widows benefits that fall under a lot of that. A lot of widows don't realize that when you become disabled and you may have been married and you become disabled at a certain age, you can draw benefits as a disabled widower off of your spouse's record, your deceased spouse's record, male, female, either it's widow or widower. So a lot of times there's a lot of income that can come from disability. There is a multitude of lanes that we can answer those questions, but I want to make sure we understand if you have a question, you're unable to work and there's possibility, come talk to me. I am a member of this church. If there's someone that you see me, please come see me. There's lanes that we can go down and we can ask more specific questions. Next slide, please. And that's what I spoke of, the SSDI. Those are the one type of benefit. We call it a Title II benefit. That's the benefit where you've taken benefits out of your check each month, paid into the system, and you're able to file to see if you can get a disability claim. Next slide, please. The disability application process can be long. It can be long and arduous. There's sometimes that it takes some people a year, 2 years to get approved because they have to go to a hearings level. But I want you to know that there is ability to apply. If you have specific questions, please come to us because there are, like I said, there are lanes that we need to go into. If you paid enough in, then you can see about applying for disability and for the SSI program also. One of the biggest parts that we miss, people don't understand there's a work level with disability. You can work and still file for disability. You just have to keep it at a certain level. I'm not saying it's $1 million. No, it's very low. But if you do the process correctly and do it smartly, we can ensure that we can assist you through that period. Okay. Next slide, please. Medicare. I'm sure we got caught up into Medicare a minute ago in reference to Medicare. But what we're going to do, there's some information I'm going to have Josh share in reference to the SHIP program that can help seniors choosing their Medicare plans, because there's a Part A, there's Part B, there's Part C, there's Part D's. And if you're on TRICARE, any retired military in here that are receiving, you all have already understood if you drop that TRICARE, and if you don't take the Medicare, they will drop your TRICARE. I need everyone to know that. If you are on TRICARE and you elect not to take that Medicare, even under disability, because you know if you're on disability for 2 years, you automatically become eligible for Medicare. Under age 65, it doesn't matter. A lot of our military come in, they get approved out of the military, they get approved for their disability, and they don't want to take they don't want to take the Medicare. and they get dropped. It is an act of Congress to get back on, and you know Congress moves real slow. So whatever you do, if you're TRICARE, do not refuse your Medicare, okay? But I'm going to let Josh handle the rest part and rest of the ship.
All right, Medicare. All right, only way you can get Medicare, 65 years old or disabled receiving benefits for 2 years, not including SSI. All right, just because you're getting SSI and you've been on SSI for 2 years does not mean you're getting enrolled into Medicare. Okay, if you're working and you're turning 65 and you enroll in Medicare, all right, you're subject to IRMA. All right, what IRMA is, if I file single, because we look at your IRS, what you file with the IRS. If you're single and you're making over $190,000 a year, you're going to get hit with what we call IRMA. That's going to be $74 on top of the $202 that you have to pay for for Medicare. And it goes up every bracket. So if you're married, filing jointly, you make over $210,000, IRMA. No way around it. You're either going to pay it or you're going to reduce your income.
Or there are some life-changing events that you can file for. A reduction in work, a loss of spouse. There are some exceptions.
Yeah, some stuff that you can, because that's going to change your income. If you lose a spouse or you stop work, your income's going to change, okay? And then you would just come down to our office. You'll fill out a SSA 44 form, which is a life-changing event form. You'll fill that out, and then we would go in and change your IRMA, okay? But for y'all rich people that's in making that good money, they're going to get you. They're going to get you, all right? For the ones for the low income, all right, they have what we call a state buy-in program. It's through the state. The state will pay your Medicare premium for you, all right? I think with the state, you have to make less than $1,500 a month for the state to pay your Medicare premium.
But additionally, there are some exceptions that we can get you around. There are many of them. If you're disabled, they give you a higher allowance.
Correct.
So just get with the state for that. You can apply for that down at Department of Social Services.
All right. Like she said, age 65 for you TRICARE, have to. Or you're going to get a letter from TRICARE saying you've been disenrolled because you haven't enrolled in Medicare Part B. Part C and D is optional. You don't have to have. A and B, got to have. A is free. A covers your hospital visits. B covers your doctor's visits. All right, them two are mandatory. Right now, Medicare Part B is $202 a month. All right? If you're working and covered by a group health plan that's not TRICARE, you do not have to take Medicare right now. Take A because it's free, but you don't have to take Part B because you're working and covered under a group health plan. All right? If you're working and not covered under a group health plan, you need to file. Because every year you go without it, it's a 10% penalty, and it'll never go away. So if you turn 70, you wasn't working and covered a group health plan, and you go file for Medicare, they're going to hit you with a 50% on top of the 202. And it never goes away. It'll stick with you till you go be with the good old Lord. All right? Next slide. I think that's enough about Medicare. We covered who gets Medicare. Next slide. We talked about Medicare Part C and D. Part C and D is your supplement. D is your medication. C is your vision, hearing, all that, all right? Then we do have a thing called extra help, all right? For people who have trouble paying for their medication, you can come down and file for extra help, but it goes off how many people stay in your household, and it goes how much money you make, all right? You can file for extra help with Part D, okay? Like I said, C and D is optional. You don't have to have it. A and B you have to have, okay? Next slide. I can't see that. What is it? What is that? Oh, Medicare enrollment, all right? You have 3 months prior to your 65th birthday and 3 months after your 65th birthday to enroll into Medicare, all right? If you're working, covered by a group health plan, and you retire and you're past 65, you have 8 months to enroll into Medicare, Part B, after you stop working. You'll have to get a 564 form filled out by your employer showing proof that you were covered by their insurance from the age of 65 to whenever you file for Medicare. All right? If you weren't working and you didn't fill out, you don't have nobody to fill out that 564, you have to wait for general enrollment. General enrollment is from January 1, March 31st. So outside of special enrollment, which is you've worked, you went to your employer, you got that paper saying, hey, I was covered by the insurance, that's special enrollment. General enrollment is I wasn't worked, I missed my time frame, outside of those 3 months after my 65th birthday, or I wasn't covered, you have to wait till general enrollment to enroll. You'll have to wait that whole year. So general enrollment's ending in a couple days. So if you miss these couple days, you got to wait all the way to January of next year to enroll in Medicare. Say that again, sir? Yes. Self-employed, same thing. All right. A lot of people, we have people come there and they say, hey, I'm the owner of the business. Are you working and covered by a group health plan? That's what I'm asking you. Not, hey, I'm the owner. No, are you working and covered by a group health plan? If you say no, you're either going to get this penalty or you're going to wait to general enrollment. Next slide. Survivor benefits. All right. If your significant other passes away, you're going to apply for a lump sum death payment, which is $255. It's a one-time payment. All right. You have up to 2 years to file for that lump sum death payment. If it's after 2 years, can't get it. All right. If you want to remarry and still get your widow's benefits, you have to be over the age of 60. If you remarry prior to the age 60, you are no longer entitled to your widow's benefits. Everybody tracking? Great. What you got?
I want to make sure you understand about survivor benefits, too, for children. There are surviving auxiliary benefits that can be paid to children under age 18 or what we call a disabled adult child. If that child became disabled before age 22, we can entitle that child to benefits off of the survivor's record, either parent. Sometimes people, that's what we see a lot that gets missed, the survivor and children. So just be sure to remember that the children can also receive benefits if they're under 18. Okay.
She's correct. So if you have, kids are authorized to have the lump sum death payment as well. So if y'all have a child under the age of 18, y'all wasn't married, y'all was shacking up, and when I'm passed, the lump sum death payment can only go to your spouse, legally married spouse, or any kid under the age of 18. That's the only ones it can go to. All right? So your kids, and then you file for the benefits for your child as well. All right? Any kid under the age of 17 will have to have a rep payee, meaning I'm going to pay you to take care of that child, but the money's for the child. All right? We cannot pay a minor. All right? We have to pay the adult. And once that kid becomes 17 and a half years old, we can pay that child. Okay? The benefits will go till they turn 19 years and 2 months, or they graduate high school, or they're a disabled adult child. If they're a disabled adult child, they can get it as long as they live. Okay? I missed anything with survivors? Next slide. Cost of living adjustment. All right. The only time you're going to get a raise in your Social Security is the one the government gives every year. Once you've taken your Social Security, you've took it. You get one withdrawal every year. Well, one withdrawal total. So if you take it at 62 and you come back 6 months later and say, you know what, I'm going back to work. I want to turn my Social Security back in. You're going to have to pay those 6 months of premiums we done paid you, and then we'll withdraw your claim. But once you come back and file it again, that's it. Ain't no going back. Ain't no going back. Once you've took it, you took it. A lot of people come in and be like, hey, I'm turning 67. How much my check going to be? Same amount you've been getting. You took it at 62. They don't know. They don't know. And you got some people who say, hey, I've been getting it for 5 years. I want to pay all that money back and then take it at 67. Nah, that ain't going to work either. You stuck. Hey, we deal with it all. They all come in with their ideas. We done seen it all. All right. But cost of living, how much you're going to get from Social Security goes off what the cost of living in the world is right now. That's how the government says, hey, we're going to give you a 2.8 increase this year. That's what you're going to get. It goes off society. Any questions about that? Next slide.
This is what we were covering earlier when you asked about the FICA tax. That was what we were saying was going to be in the slide. This is how Social Security is funded. It comes directly out of your FICA taxes. And I think sometimes the confusion comes because people think, they come into Social Security and they say, oh, I'm 62. This is all I'm going to get? All that money I paid into Social Security? Well, we all know FICA taxes ain't that much. Let's not make it where, that it's so much that gets paid in. But how Social Security is funded through all of the FICA taxes that come out. And then your benefit amount is calculated off of how much you paid into Social Security. But we're going to cover that. Josh is going to cover that just a little bit later. But that is how Social Security is funded, through our FICA taxes. It's not a direct amount of how much you pay IRS every year. It doesn't calculate that way.
Another thing, when you get your Social Security, people ask, hey, do I need to pay taxes on my Social Security? That ain't for us to figure out. That's for your W-2 person, your tax person to figure out if you need to pay taxes on your Social Security. We will withhold taxes on your Social Security. If you tell us to, hey, I want 10% withheld, they go straight to the IRS at the end of the year. All right? But we're not just going to do it. You have to tell us, and then we'll go in there and do the withholding. Okay? The average person, depending on what they make, does between 7 and 10% withhold throughout the year per check. And then there's some people don't withhold nothing. All right, so it's something you have to talk to about your tax person about what you want to do with taxes on your Social Security. But Donald Trump is trying to pass a law where you don't have to pay nothing on your Social Security, but we got our minds elsewhere right now, all right?
Lies.
Don't talk bad about your president. All right, next slide. Applying for benefits. Like I said before, anybody can file for disability. There's no age requirement. Anybody. All right? Kid, newborn, whatever can file for Social Security disability. Retirement, you have to file at 60. You don't have to, but the earliest you can file is 62. The max is 70. Once you have 70, if you don't take it at 70, you're losing money. Have to take it at 70. Once you hit your full retirement age, we go into what we call DRCs, delay retirement credits. All right? So you get you get a 2.8 increase on your Social Security. So if your Social Security is $2,000, by the time you get to age 70, it could be about $3,500. All right? But once again, who knows if we're going to live that long? All right? Get your money when you can. They keep saying that Social Security is going to run out in 10 years. That's a lie. I have, on average, 50 to 60 death certificates come through my office every day. That's 50 or 60 people who ain't going to never see their Social Security. That's 50 and 60 that their money's going back into the system. So they'll never see their Social Security.
And here's another factor that people don't realize about Social Security. You know, we talk big conversations about immigrants lately, illegal immigrants supposedly that are here. What they don't know, when they come in and they do work under a number, sometimes that happens. They work under a Social Security number that's not theirs. Where do you think that money goes? They can't file taxes. So all of that income goes into, we move that money into a pot that sits over, it doesn't go to anyone. Who does it go to? The federal government. So there is money there. All of those, I think in my lifetime working there, I know I've processed at least 10 a year or not more of moving money that was worked under another number and moved over. And you can see the amount of money that sits in that pot. So Social Security can be well funded. Don't let them confuse you. They fund what they want to fund.
Another benefit I want to talk about is auxiliary benefits. All right, auxiliary benefits. We might have some stay-at-home mothers that never worked their whole life. All right. If you were married to your spouse longer than 10 years, you're entitled to his benefits. If you were married to him less than 10 years and he passed while y'all was married, you're entitled to his benefits. All right? If you're currently married and y'all been married for more than 1 year and you're over your retirement age, you're entitled to his benefits or her benefits. All right? You did your due diligence by being with them for 10 years, get the money. I'm going to tell you, them stay-at-home moms, they come in there getting it now. I'm telling you, they come in there getting it. All right? I put up with him for 20 years. I want my money. They get it, I'm telling you. Joe Biden passed a law a couple years ago. If you're getting a federal pension, all right? Remember you get a federal pension a couple years ago, you couldn't get your retirement. That's no more. You can get your federal pension and your Social Security now if you paid enough into Social Security. All right? For you self-employed people, don't come to my office talking about, man, I've worked 40 years doing self-employed, but you ain't paid not $1 in the taxes. You ain't going to get nothing. But all that money you saved for them 40 years. All right?
All right. What he's speaking of is the loss. You know, every year you run a business, and if you run a business and you report a loss every year, you're not paying any taxes in. It doesn't matter what you could have. That business could have had a profit of $100,000, but when you start whittling back all of the deductions and all of those things, and it reports is zero, when you come to Social Security, you're not going to receive a benefit from us because you didn't pay in. And a lot of times that is the most disheartening thing I have to tell someone. A lot of it happened. I worked in Lumberton for 15 years, and we had a lot of people down there self-employed. They brick masons, laying sheetrock. Yes, and they come in and they have worked hard all of their life, and it is so disheartening to have to tell them, "I'm sorry, we can't pay you a check." They're 65 and have nothing. They can't even get Medicare because they've not paid in enough. So it is very important. I appreciate that we run our businesses, but run your business smartly, because this is information we don't know about.
On a side note of that, when she said they didn't pay enough in the Social Security to get Medicare, you can still file for Medicare. It's called an uninsured Medicare. It's going to cost you some money, but we can go to social service and apply for that to have them pay for it. Even if it's $400 a month, the state will pay for it. All right? It's called uninsured Medicare. If you haven't worked and paid enough into Social Security, you can still file for Medicare. Or, like I said, you can file for it off of your spouse as well. You can use their credits, their QCs, to get your Medicare. Okay? I want to talk about SSI real quick. SSI, government needs basis, all right? Like welfare, all right? We look at everything. We look at your bank accounts. We look at how many cars you got. We look how many houses you got, any properties, any life insurance, if you got what's the thing called where you have your hole buried at the cemetery? A plot. We look, see if you got a plot. We look at everything. And you can't hide it from us. I'm telling you, you can't. You can say, hey, I'm going to go pull my money out and put it in another account. We'll find it. We're the federal government.
And people don't think about their name that's on another account. We have people that lost SSI because they have a daughter who they put their mom's name on her account. She had $50,000 in it. Sorry, you lose your SSI. And we will make you overpaid from a year previous. It's unfortunate. So be mindful as our elders. Do not allow some people to put your name on their account. You can be a survivor, but don't have it as a joint count, because when you get older, it does matter as an elder. That's when the most time that we need it. It does matter.
And like I said, if you're retirement, you file a retirement in 65 and it's less than $994, you can go file for SSI aged, which gives you that difference. So if your retirement's only $600, you can go file SSI aged, give you that extra $394 that you're missing.
But we do count spouse's income. If you have a spouse
Absolutely.
in the house, we will count that. So it is a needs-based program. That means they look at any income coming in the home. Spouse.
Next slide. We are going strictly internet. Probably in another year, you probably won't even be coming to our office. Everything's going to the internet. They want you to file your retirement online. They want you to file your Medicare online. They want you to order your replacement Social Security card online. Everything. Everything's going online. All right? So I know us elders in here, we don't know nothing about the computer. Can't tell you nothing. We used to have a system down at our office that you can come in and we could help you set up your online account. That's gone. So now you're going to have to get your teenage grandbaby or something to come in and say, come here, baby, show me how to set up this. All right? But they really want us to push Social Security online. They're like, hey, what about scams? This is how you prevent the scam. All right? By having this, because ID Me, for us military people, ID Me, that's who's running the Social Security online account. You can't come down there and say, hey, man, reset my password. Ain't us. It's ID Me. You need to reach out to them. They're the ones running it. All right? They really want us to push this Social Security online.
And in reference to online, yes, elders, we do need to use, sometimes we're not tech savvy, but I would advise that you be wary of who you have set up the account for you. We have a multitude of scams that have come through. We lose checks for months on end. Some people don't know that their check has been diverted because they let Cousin Ed help them, and Cousin Ed took and got your account and went and opened it and diverted your money out of your account. And your Social Security benefit went to another bank. And we can't give it back in most instances. A lot of instances, we don't give it back to them because they had your password. We can't prove that it wasn't you.
Another thing, we're never going to call you and say, hey, you owe us money. Never. Anytime when you owe us money, you're going to get a letter in the mail saying, hey, you owe us this, or you need to come see us about this. So if somebody ever calls you and say, hey, you owe us blah, 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 give me your social, blah, blah, blah. No. If we're calling you, we already have your social. That's how you eliminate all that scam stuff. If we're calling you, we already have your social. All right? So remember that. We're never going to call you and be like, what's your social? No. We already have it. Now, we are going to verify you. We're going to say, give me your name, your date of birth, your place of birth, your mother's maiden name. We are going to ask you those. So we make sure that information ties to that social. But we're never going to call you and say, hey, give me your social. We already have it. All right? And anytime you don't feel comfortable talking to somebody on the phone, just say, hey, I'm going to go down to my local office and hang up. All right? Be wary about who you give your information to. Unless you're filing a claim online, all right? Or we have you on the phone and we're taking your retirement because we called you. We didn't ask you for your social. We asked you identifying questions, and then we're going to ask you for your information, all right? That's the only time you should give your information out. Never give it to somebody that says, hey, what's your social? Or, hey, you owe us money. Where's my letter? All right? Next slide. You want to lead this one?
Josh covered it earlier about Social Security benefits are not automatic. Some of the misconceptions that we see most of the time at Social Security is I should get more than I'm receiving. That's one of the biggest misconceptions. A lot of people believe that Social Security check is meant to replace your income that you work, the same amount that you work and earn. Social Security retirement is a supplement to any other retirement you should have set up already, whether it be a 401k, whether it be some type of IRA, somewhere that you save money to supplement for your retirement. That is one of the biggest misconceptions. They come down and they say, this is all I'm getting. I'm supposed to live on this for the rest of my life. Yes, unfortunately, that is all that they give. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions. I want people now to get savvy about what we do with our money and how we do our money, because they don't tell it in the black community. They don't tell it to us. They make sure they want us to continue working till you're 70 and 80 years old. That's what they want. So the biggest thing that we need to do is know ahead of time. When you turn 55, you should already be looking at your Social Security statement. Actually, what we used to call it, the years that were substantive years. So at 30, you should be looking. For every 10 years, look at your account and see what it's doing to see how much that retirement is, because you're going to have to figure out how you're going to make it. We're not working till you can work till you're 70, but why? If we can do better, when we know better, we do better. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I run into about the amount that we think we should be receiving. That is one of the biggest ones. Also, with our Social Security cards, there are a lot of information about Social Security cards. Please keep your Social Security card put up. Do not carry it in your wallet. You lose it, someone has your Social Security number and they have your ID, so they can go and create every account they want to. And now they're asking for the real IDs. Like if you don't have a real ID to get on post, if you're not military, they'll ask you bring your Social Security card. Put it back up. If you do have to take it, I would prefer that you don't use that. Use a passport. But get that card and put it back up. Put it up somewhere safe. Don't give it to your cousin. Don't give it to your children. I've seen more children come in and commit fraud on their parents' record than I want to talk about. So be mindful of those things. Keep your Social Security card put up and know your benefit amount.
I'm trying to think of another misconception we have. We have a few of them. Going to the next one. That's your slide.
Yeah, actually, that's the slide I was just speaking of. Planning ahead. We have to be knowledgeable about what we do when it comes to retirement and what we're looking to do for ourselves. So maintain. If you have to get with an accountant, get with an accountant. But don't listen to your cousin who said, I got disability because of this, or I got retirement because of this. It can lead you in the wrong direction. We see that a lot too. Come down and talk to us. And if you're in the church, if you got a question for me, I don't mind you stopping me. I'm a little hard of hearing, but that doesn't mean if I look at you funny, it's not because I'm annoyed. I just may not have heard you. But please, if you have a question, ask it.
I got another misconception that people have. They'll talk to their friends and be like, my friend's working and making as much money as he wants to, and he's not full retirement age. That's a lie. That's a lie. All right? The only way you can get Social Security and make as much money as you want to is you have to be full retirement age. All right? The amount you make for retirement at 62 was how much? Y'all ain't paying attention to me. $24,480. You know how much you can make for disability if you're on disability? $1,690 a month if you're on disability. That's all you can make. All right? And on that, you can do 9 months of trial work period. That means you can work as much money as you want and make as much money as you want for 9 months. Every month that you go over that limit of $1,690, we take a month.
That's only in the first beginning.
Yeah,
That's the first year.
That's the first year, all right? Once you hit those 9, now they don't have to be consecutive. You have 3 years to use those trial work period, all right? And then you're going to go through another period where if you go 1 cent over that, we cut your check off.
Actually, that's one of the biggest misconceptions there. Actually, it is extremely hard for us to get your check started back if you were on disability and it gets terminated.
Especially for work.
Especially for work. It is a very tedious process, and there is not a supplement check to help you out during that period. It's one of our hardest cases that we deal with at Social Security when someone's working and disabled and then it has to stop. So that's why we ask you, please come and talk to us and listen to us. I've had so many people lose their benefit because they listened to their cousin who said, I'm working as much as I want. Yeah, you're right. But your check's still going to stop. So if you're on disability and want to work, go down to Social Security and talk to someone knowledgeable. Talk to Josh. And Josh can get you settled. Or if you can come see me, I can advise you on what to need to do. But if you're on disability and you want to work, you can do it. You just have to do it smartly.
I'm going to tell you another thing I see lately. Say you owe somebody some money. You owe a school. You owe some kind of federal person a loan or anything like that. They're going after your Social Security. They're going to send us a message saying, hey, this guy over here owes me $1,000. I need it from his Social Security.
And that's only a federal benefit.
Federal.
Student loans, I've had a lot of that come up. Grandparents sign for student loans for their kids. They get a Parent Plus loan. Grandparent signs for it. Grandparent doesn't pay it back. The child says, oh, I'm going to pay it. They get 62. They take the money out of your check. If you owe a federal debt, they can take it out of your Social Security check. They also take out child support. We have men that got child support. They got approved for disability, been waiting 3 years, get a $50,000 back pay, and $25,000 of it is gone because the state says, hey, we took care of those kids, you owe back child support, and they take the money. As well they should, but just something that you need to know. Any federal benefit, if you owe a federal debt, they can come after your Social Security benefit. Not your SSI, but your Social Security.
And your income tax. They'll hit them all at one time. They will. All right, next slide. Key takeaways. Earliest age we can retire, 62. The max age we can retire, if we're under full retirement age, how much can we make? How much a month? No, that's disability. $2,040. All right. Disability is $1,690 if you're filing for disability. Medicare, what age? Or disabled receiving benefits for 2 years. That's the only way you can get Medicare. Okay. One thing I missed, if you're working and you're turning the year you're turning your full retirement age, all right, say I'm 66, I turned 67 in May of this year, and I'm working, and I want to file for my full retirement age. You can make up to $65,000 from January to May and still get your full retirement. All right. Now, if I turn full retirement age in October and I make $65,000 over before I hit October, can't do it. All right. So you can work and make up to $65,000 the year you turn your full retirement age. Okay? And keep working.
One thing I wanted to cover, I think I spoke to brothers in the back about this earlier. Yes. The more you know, the better you can prepare. If someone's approaching age 62 and you say, okay, I'm going to take out my Social Security, I'm going to apply for my Social Security benefits. Like I was telling the gentleman in the back, you should apply for disability and Social Security retirement at the same time. And the reason I say this is this. Once there's a key age limit at 60 that you have a higher chance of being approved for disability. Because by 60, we gone through some things, you know? So what I tell people is when you go in and apply for your retirement at 62, apply for a disability claim at the same time, because if you get approved, now that's if you don't want to work, if you're looking to scale back your work and you can meet the levels, but this is what I just want you to know, and if you're thinking about doing it, come see me. I can advise you the best way to do it. If you apply at 62 for your retirement and a disability, they'll pay you your retirement check at 62. They'll start paying it, but they'll send a disability claim down for you. You get approved for disability, they will increase your payment to the amount you would have gotten if you're full retirement age, no reductions. It's smart to do that because you end up with all of the extra money that you want, but also you're not limited in playing the game of I can't work, I can't earn the amount. It makes up the difference maybe in what you need. And a lot of people just don't think about it in those terms, but just know there's what we call a RIB-DIB option, a retirement and a disability option at 62. Think about it when it's time for you to go out. And if you have any specific questions, please come see me about it. I don't want people to miss that. And also, I specialize in OPM retirement. If you have any questions about OPM, there's a trick around OPM retirement too. There's a lot of knowledge out there that people don't know. And it's specific based, but if you come to me, I can advise you the best way to look at it and how to approach it so that we can maximize our benefits.
That's a whole nother block of instruction. Another thing, file for your retirement like you said. Let them work your disability. You'll get your retirement while your disability getting approved. Worst thing can happen is they're going to tell you, no, you're not going to get your disability. You're still getting a retirement check. Make sure you exhaust all your appeals. Once they deny you, file a recon. If they deny your recon, file a hearing. If they deny your hearing, file an appeals counsel. All right? Make sure you exhaust all your appeals, because they might deny you just for see if you're serious. See if you're going to file again. A lot of people file and never do a recon. And just like, you know what, forget it. They said no, get it. People file a recon, they don't get it, go in front of that judge for that hearing and get approved. All right? And then they get that back pay. All right? The biggest back pay I've ever seen, they dropped $100,000 in somebody's account. One drop. All right.
The one thing that I realized was I moved from a state job to a federal job. Didn't realize I could leave that Social Security in there and let it grow interest. And instead took it out and missed out on a lot of interest.
Social Security doesn't pay interest. I think maybe there's something else you're speaking of. I'm not.
This was Social Security. One lady moved from the state to a federal job, and I said, well, I took my Social Security out. She said, why? And I said, because of the fact I thought that's what I had to do. She said, no, you didn't. You left it right there.
Did you start drawing your monthly Social Security check? Is that what you're speaking of? You started drawing your monthly benefit from Social Security?
No, I didn't draw it. I left it in, as she said, I could have left it in the bank, and I could have gotten interest off of it, because she got hers that way.
Remember when we talked about those people that say what they got? That's not correct, ma'am. There's no way for anyone to go in and draw out your Social Security and leave it in the bank and pick the money you paid in Social Security and move it somewhere else.
No, she didn't move it. She left it there in Social Security.
That's my point. You can't do that. You don't have the option to move your Social Security money from one place to another, to a state benefit. It's a federally funded benefit. I think it's maybe something else she may be speaking of. That maybe you could have moved.
She left it there, and what she's saying, she left it in the.
You talking about a TSP?
Are you talking about your thrift savings, like a 401k? No, ma'am. Well, I'll talk to you individually about it. That's not correct. We don't have the ability to move Social Security money and say leave it. Maybe she didn't draw her benefit at that time. Maybe. I can't.
All right.
Yeah, I'll answer.
Mr. Lowe, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll do refreshments, and then we'll come back with questions and answers. We'll answer all your questions, and then we'll go from there, all right?
Thank you. you can head down to the fellowship hall. We have some folks, Sister Brown and her crew is down there with refreshments. So please partake in the refreshments. Thank you.
Also, we do have some material down there in the fellowship hall for you to pick up, read. Make sure you grab that on your way in there. All right. Thank you.